Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad HUSSIN and today I want to present about welding. Before we start to the explanation of the welding, we need to follow this safety precaution. First, you need to wear self-protective clothes such as welding bandana. This to protect your hair from being tangled to this electrode and might be burned if you have long hair. Next, wear safety glasses as it to protect your eyes from the sparks that come when you're building an arc. To protect your leg from hot molten metal, you must wear workshop boots. Next, wear welding jackets and gloves. It helps in protect your skin from the hotness of the sparks that comes when welding. Lastly, you need to wear welding helmet, or in other name, industrial grade outer darkening helmet, to protect your eyes from the height of the brightness in the sparks. Next precaution are do not weld around inflammable materials which will make sparks that cause fire. Check condition of the welding machine. Prevent the welding cables from having in contact with hot metal, water, oil and grease. Make sure proper insulation cables and check the openings. SMAW is one of the simplest welding. There's other types of welding. It is due to the electrode that is used have cover that produce a gas to stabilize the arc that you build, which not need extra gas pressure cylinder. That's why its name is SMAW, which stands for Shield Metal Arc Welding. When set up the machine, we must connect the ground or work cable to the negative terminal. The positive terminal is for the electrode holder. There are some machines you can switch the polarity, and some of them have to unbolt it physically. Some machines have AC output, which is switch negative and positive terminal automatically due to its name alternating current. Next is DCEN, that stands for direct current electrode negative. By the name you can tell that the cables of electrode holder must connect to the terminal negative and the work cables to the positive terminal. While for the DCEP or direct current electrode positive, the position of the cables is opposite from DCEN. An electrode is a coated metal wire. It is made up by alloy composition. In such metal arc welding, also known as stick, electrodes are consumable, which means that the electrode is consumed during its use and melts with the weld. When choosing the electrode must be compatible based on what is suitable for the shape of the work. Commonly, welding we use E6010 electrode that is run in DCEP and was a carbon steel electrode. The number that state of the electrode have its meaning, which is the first two digit is the tensile strength, which is in this rod it can stand up for up to 60,000 psi. The third digit is for the position that you want to weld. Number 1 for all position and number 2 for flat and horizontal position. The last digit is the flux composition. Based on this E6010, it is a fast freeze electrode. This flux composition will determine how the puddle reacts. On generate an arc, you have to avoid extreme angles. Just from 90 degrees angle, you just have to slide down a bit to 10 or 15 degrees angle, which means your angle electrode must be in 80 to 75 degrees. The distance between your electrode and workpiece must be 1/8 inch or 0.3 cm. When strike an arc, but use a very slight rocking motion, we have to go like back and forth and just carry the bead along, keeping the bead slowly and barely drag the rod on the material. If you do not understand, you can just see this video.
It's like this.
Due to the nature of flux, the slag will appear. So Don't beat up, instead let it cool first and use grinder or strip brush. Good beat will be like twice the size of your electrode. You can actually have stable arc between your electrode and your workpiece, but there's enough heat from the electrode that can make your electrode stick with your workpiece. This is so irritating. So, to counter it, we just have to tap the electrode really gently. This also happens due to the machine setup. So, if your machine does not hot enough, this thing will happen. So, make sure you set up the machine correctly. Next is the issue of the electrode fail to build an arc. It can easily be found in electrode of E7018. Just look at the picture, you can see there's a slack over the end of electrode. So, to counter this, just stand by a sandpaper on your table and rub it if it is happened. Do's and don'ts in welding. First, do not welding in a poorly ventilated area. We have to remember that each time the plasma arc is placed on a metallic object or surface, chemical reaction occurs, which release fumes in the surrounding atmosphere. Depending on the particular type of metal, it may release noxious or even toxic fumes. This is why it's important to only weld in a well-ventilated area. Otherwise, you run the risk of breathing in toxic fumes. Second, don't forget to preheating. Another all too common mistake workers make when welding is not preheating. So, what's the purpose of preheating? Among other things, it is a major deterrent against cracking. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to weld an object only for it to crack. You can reduce the chance of this happening by preheating it before you attempt to weld it. 3. Do not wearing the appropriate safe gear. A third mistake you want to avoid when welding is not wearing the appropriate safety gear. Some people are stuck in the mindset that safety gear slows them down, while it may restrict some of your mobility. It can really save your life. Before using a welding arc, gear up in a welding helmet with fitted lens, welding glove, welding jacket, and thick leather boots. 4. Welding on unstable surface. You can expect that safely weld an object unless it's on a flat, even and secure surface. Never attempt to weld on unstable surfaces, as this places you at risk for your injury. If necessary, clamp the object down with an industrial grade clamps to keep in place. Number 5. You do not clean or maintaining the arc welder. A fifth and final mistake that far too many workers are guilty of is not cleaning or properly maintaining their device. Welding arcs, like any other powerful tool, tend to gather dust and dirt over the course of their life. In order to keep your device in optimal condition, you must clean it on a regular basis. Defects. The example of a defects image that I can show you in SM&W welding is incomplete fusion. This is because to the low amperage setting, steep electrode angle, fast travel speed of building an arc, short arc gap, lack of preheat, electrode are too small, unclean base metal, and arc off seam. To prevent it, just eliminate the potential causes. How to repair it? Remove and re-weld, and being careful to completely remove the defect area. The next defect that I can show you is slack inclusion. The example you can see in the picture. This is because it is low amperage setting, improper techniques, slow travel rate. To prevent it, just increase the amperage and increase the travel rate. How to repair it? Just remove by grinding or other mechanical process, such as using steel brush. Things to do before leaving the workshop. Make sure your equipment is fully turned off. Before you step away from your work area, you must always make it a point to make sure that your welding equipment is turned off and properly stored. Equipment that has accidentally been left on greatly increase the risk of fires, explosion, or other accidents. So, make sure you turn off. Second, dispose of waste properly and safely. When you have finished welding, you will probably have some used electrode buds laying around, as well as perhaps additional scraps from your welding project. This waste item can potentially lead to a safety hazard since they may be very hot or be emitting toxic fumes. Alternatively, they may simply litter the area and increase the likelihood that someone slip or have similar mishap. This is why it is essential to dispose of this item properly in a designed appropriate waste container. Third, be vigilant of spark, embers, smoldering, or fire. Even after you have finished welding and turn off your equipment, there is still a chance that an errant spark may ignite something in the area. It is important to keep an eye out of this danger for a brief time period after you have finished your work. Of course, being vigilant for danger at your work site is also a good safety strategy in general. Thank you and have a nice day.